Don't give me that side eye. I know I ain't been around in a long time and I'm popping up again. But your girl is here nonetheless. I am here today to talk about how I beat depression. May is the month of mental health, and I thought that being a psychologist, more specifically a school psychologist, I thought it was important for me to come at you all and talk about mental health and more specifically depression. For the month of May, I am going to be doing Mental Health Mondays every Monday. Depression. Why am I talking about this? Well, as a woman who is never really been expected to have depression, I too have suffered from it. I want to normalize it with you all. I just want to come at you raw and say, look, depression is real. It happens. People get sad, and it's not just sadness. It's beyond that. And I think so many of us are afraid to admit to mental health problems, or more specifically depression, because it makes you look like, oh my God, are they suicidal? Oh my God, are they crazy? Well, all of us got a little bit of crazy in us, right? So that's the first thing. But secondly, one thing that you all should know is that it is not abnormal to have issues with depression. People go through seasonal depression where when the seasons change, so does their mood. Situations happen, someone passes away, which puts you in a place where you are hitting a dark place. You're depressed for a very long time, and sometimes beyond 6 months. You know that you need to make sure that you see a mental health professional, a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist, someone that can help you with that, and a psychiatrist who might even be able to help regulate your behaviors through medication. My bouts with depression started young, and I had a lot of issues with anxiety and being depressed because of things around me not going the way that I wanted them to. I think the one time I really first started seeing depression was in my first year of college, and many of you all don't know this now because you know me as Dr. Nina, but my first year of college was sucky. It was horrible. I mean, I had like a 0.85 GPA. That was my first time really in life failing at something and not planning to fail at it. I went off to school thinking I was, I'm good. I know how to do stuff. I can get away with getting stuff done at the last minute, whatever. And little did I know life don't play with you like that. School doesn't play with you like that. I can remember crying to my mother, calling her, saying that I was probably going to quit school, that it was over for me, that I was done, that I was coming home. And I really hit a dark place. I didn't want to talk to people. I kind of isolated myself. I was really, really down all the time. I think at that time, I learned about university counseling services, and I decided to go see someone that could talk to me about my issues. And what I found was I was pretty depressed. And, at that time, I really didn't want to tell anybody because it's like people that get depressed, oh my God, like, they crazy. Like, seriously, they're crazy. And I didn't think it could happen to me. I didn't really think that I was susceptible to being ill in a mental health kind of way. But it happened to me. And so, therefore, I say it to you, it can happen to anybody. And it's not something that you plan on happening. You might not even know why your mood is the way that it is. And I want to tell you all to normalize this, to go and see someone if you need help. Go see a therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. Make sure that you stay on top of your behaviors and your moods. And only you know what's a mood swing and what's not. We all have mood swings. But when you start to get into depression, like I said, it's almost like that hopeless feeling. It's almost like all hope is gone. I don't know what else I can do. And if you're an otherwise upbeat, happy person, and even if you're not, you still know where your happy place is. And if you can't reach that on your own, there's so much that you need to do beyond just prayer. Because I know a lot of us are very, very connected to our faith. Prayer is great and you should do it, but you should also infuse some part of taking care of self, and that's considered self-care. Some of the things that I used to beat depression. First off, during that year of college, you all know that was my biggest weight gain year. That was one way that I knew that, heck yeah, I was depressed. I was gaining all that weight. So first off, I didn't feel cute. I ain't look cute. I didn't feel good about myself. My grades were low. I was doing really bad in my facets of life. I didn't have the best in relationships or anything like that. And I was watching a lot of my friends having sustained relationships with boyfriends, with friends, and all of that. And I didn't have that. During high school, during middle school, I was pretty popular. And I went to a place where I was no longer known, and that changed me. And I was without my mother. I didn't even have my mom. So there was so much going on with me that was just totally different. And I had to take a look at those things. And I had to stop thinking that something was truly just broken within me. I had to fix that. And so what I started to do, I think when a lot of this started to subside, I started exercising and started eating better, because believe it or not, the way that we eat, the way that we treat ourselves has a lot to do with how our mental health can be. And beyond that, I also started to really reach out to friends, branch out. I couldn't isolate myself. The more I isolated myself, the more I felt unhappy. And so I had to learn what was fueling that. How was I going to fix that? How was I going to get better? How was I going to be better and do better? So I had to reach out to my community. I had to stop myself from being afraid to go talk to a counselor. I started thinking, who was going to see me walk into the building? Who was going to see me go and talk to a counselor? And what were they going to think about me? But what you got to stop doing is thinking about what other people think about you. Because at night, you're the only one that has to sleep with yourself. You're the only one that has to have the mind that you have. You're the only one with the thoughts that you have. You're the only one that has to face the problems that you have head on. Not even your mama, your daddy, your cousin, your brother, your sister, uncle, and baby daddy. None of them have to face what you face. And so therefore, you have to figure out how you can get yourself to the next level, how you can become better, how you can be happy. And so I had to get over that stigma, because it is a big stigma. And among many races and cultures, more specifically being an African American woman, I find that a lot of people find it very stigmatizing to admit that they have mental health issues. You are not your mental illness. That is not who you are. But you can make your quality of life so much better by admitting that you have difficulties. And there are people to admit that too. Now, I didn't go telling everybody on the block that I was depressed, but I learned a way to reach out to people that were my safe place, that had my best interest at heart, that wanted me to be the best that I could be. And I couldn't do that unless I had a support network, unless I was taking care of myself and having some self-care, and unless I was reflecting on what was keeping me down. I also started to make sure that I watched my triggers. I knew that I was setting myself up for failure. In undergraduate, I was taking all these classes that were too hard for me, things that I couldn't handle. I was taking so many hours trying to graduate early and be high stuff. And I had to take my time. I had to slow my roll and stay in my lane. I couldn't set myself up for depression, right? I had to put myself around people that were going to keep me encouraged, that were going to keep my mind stayed on the right things. Sometimes that takes getting away from people that are downers. Some people are just some bogus downers. I hate to say it, they're just bogus downers. They can really take you from a high level to a low level and make you feel really bad about yourself. And do you know that there's people in this world that do that stuff on purpose because they like to see someone else going through way more than what they're experiencing? You have to watch the people in the company that you keep, because some people will try to keep you in that low spot. And I was determined to get out of there. So therefore, that meant putting myself around people that were going to support me in exercising, that were going to support me in doing more in my community, that were going to support me in friendships, that were going to provide me with loving outlets. And not only that, I had to be real with myself. Mama wasn't no longer taking care of me and couldn't. You know, and even if I had left school and gone back home, was I going to be depressed back at home? Yeah, because I was proving to myself that I couldn't do what I set out to do. I'd have made it to a place where some people think, oh my gosh, she's made it. Before the age of 30, I had a PhD. I bought a home. I did a lot of things, but your girl gets depressed sometimes. It happens. And I am only speaking out about this because we see so many people committing suicide, dying, hurting, harming themselves because they have no one to turn to. One of the most recent stories was that of TT, of Miss Jessie's original. I mean, a beautiful, successful woman. And we look and we see the outside and we think, what? How could that happen? Well, sometimes when you feel like you're in a place where all hope is gone and you're not around what you think might be the right people, the right influences, the right situations, these things happen. And until we speak out about them and we start to feel that the behavior that we're having, the thoughts that we're having is not abnormal, the person next to you might be going through the same thing. And I ain't saying go out and announce that you're depressed. I'm not saying that. But all of us have a safe place. All of us have someone we can talk to. And if you don't, like I said, seek out therapists. And don't be deterred or told not to do that by anybody, because anybody who loves you wants you to get the help that you need. Some of these people that tell you not to get help or that you crazy for even seeking help, they crazy too. I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. I thank you so much for listening and for tuning in. I hope that you will join me for Mental Health Mondays. Make sure that you hashtag MHMBBBD. I hope that this will be of service to you all, and I hope that I'm able to answer most, if not all, of your questions during these Mental Health Mondays. Make sure that you tune in on Sunday too, because you'll have a message from somebody very, very important to me, my mother. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Beautiful brown baby doll. Peace. Don't forget to check for me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and keep up with daily updates and keep in contact with me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel now for weekly updates. And don't forget to check out my latest video, my weight loss and natural hair care playlist. There's so much for you there. Thanks for watching.